We know they're good for it. Now we know all this. We know the big name teams. We know what Bama's going to most likely do. All things considered. There's no major injuries. We know what Georgia's going to come do. Texas, we're pretty confident in that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about Tennessee. Obviously, the whole situation with Nico Iamaleava, he is no longer there. He's now at UCLA. Tennessee is another one that has, an interesting schedule, maybe a little bit more favorable. I mean, they start with Syracuse, which could be an issue. They got Georgia at the September 13th, but then it's UAB, Mississippi State, Arkansas, all winnable games. You go to Alabama on the 18th. Then you go to Kentucky, Oklahoma, New Mexico State, and then you finish the season at Florida, at Vandy. You look at that schedule and you say, okay, with the talent they had, you figure they should do pretty good in that. But then obviously the situation at quarterback, even some of the other players are kind of going back and forth over money and some of that stuff. Can Tennessee be one of these teams that kind of a little favorable schedule? Can they shock some people and then make it back to the playoff? Will.
Looking at their schedule, the answer is yes, but they are going to be the SMU of the playoffs if that happens. You may have only lost 2 games, but you didn't beat anyone good to get there. I mean, I do not think this is a very good Tennessee team. This schedule is ridiculous. Anybody would love to play this. How this got concocted, and this is who they drew this year, is just absolutely
ridiculous. Florida and LSU are playing, the 2 we just looked at.
It's like this is crazy. And you look, I mean, they've got a lot of players coming back on defense, which that's, always been, Heupel's little problem. He can score a whole bunch of points, but can they play defense? That's going to help him out. I just don't think they've got it behind center. I mean, if this dude who came from California in high school, went to App State, then went back to California, now he's finishing up his career back in the Appalachian Mountains. I don't know. I don't see it from it, but looking at this schedule, they're probably going to win more games than they actually should, than what they say. But I don't think they're going to be a good team.
Yeah, and
I mean, believe they will.
With what you're saying with Aguilar being there, I think the bigger loss isn't Iamaleava. I think it's Dylan Sampson. That dude was a monster running the ball for them. Anytime that they didn't necessarily feel confident in Nico's ability to keep them in games, okay, let's hand it off to Sampson a bunch of times and have him control the clock and control the pace of this game. That's such a massive loss for Heupel's offense, because now you're unproven at running back and bringing a new guy in at quarterback. So that is huge. We said Florida could easily be the best 7-win team in the nation. I think Tennessee could arguably be the worst 9-win team in the nation.
Yeah. Easily.
Like, I don't see it with Tennessee whatsoever, but that schedule is handing them free wins. And I think, here's the thing. They went to the playoff last year and got belt put to their ass. Yeah. And that was a good Tennessee team. What happens if they make it with this one?
I mean, they have to win 9 games. If you don't win 9 games with this schedule, you have failed.
Yeah.
And that was kind of one of my questions, is how much does that butt whooping against Ohio State, how much does that linger? How much of that is a hangover? Obviously, the quarterback's not there, Sampson. There's players that are in the league. But still, as a program, we all know, Tennessee and SEC fans, some of the people that are listening in the comments know, Rocky Top, they were going to come into Ohio State and they were going to do this and do that. And the game was over.
I tried to tell them.
And they just nothing. Completely didn't show up. And then having the off season that they have. I mean, Eric, I'll come to you. Like, it does not look good, even though they have a favorable schedule. You really question what Tennessee's coming to the table, and can they get over the hump? I mean, they have good teams, but they can never really make it far.
I mean, I could be alone, but I think we're still relatively young in the Heupel era. Excuse me. He, from what they had been over the last 20 years, yeah, they might be not as good of a team this year, but they're still going to be a substantially better team than they were 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Oh, 100%.
So
Definitely.
it's just a weird kind of dynamic. I'm not going to slaughter them for getting slaughtered by Ohio State. I mean, when Ohio State was on, they were a force to be reckoned with. Like there weren't too many teams that weren't getting buzzsawed. I mean, towards the end of the season by them. Sure, the Michigans of the world made it happen, but they're their daddy at the moment. So I'm not going to throw Tennessee. I didn't think Tennessee stood a chance against Ohio State either to begin.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's doing something good. He's winning consistently. So I really don't see that as like a fork in the road for the program. You know, we've all been through our own beatings, and we get up and we survive. He's going to find a way to score points. I don't think Aguilar is going to start long. I think George McIntyre is going to end up overtaking the job not too far into this season. You know, highly acclaimed quarterback. Heupel will get them ready. They're going to find a way to score points. To Will's point, you know, sometimes the way that offense scores just puts the defense in such a predicament. Like, they're on the field for so long.
Yeah.
So I certainly agree with both their points. The schedule for what these SEC schedules look like this year is very light, and it's very convenient that they have nice breaks in between the good teams on the schedule. But I certainly expect overall regression this year. With that said, the team that starts on August 30th, if they win and survive, that is not the same team come November 29th. So I'm not going to predict how they'll do in the playoffs if they make the playoffs until we see how this iron gets forged. Because it very well could be a darn good team by then.
Yeah, I think it's a quick reset year, kind of like what we just had this past year. I think it's like, okay, you had your run with the really good teams. Now it's that one reset, retool year, and then you're right back in the mix. I think that's absolutely what Tennessee's heading into this year.
Yeah. Yep.